Hello everyone, today I'm here to do yet again another mashup review. I've done a lot of these, like I said, every single time, but I really enjoy them. If you're not familiar with my mashup reviews, it is where I take 3 books, usually within the same genre, and review them all in one video. So it's easier, quicker, and just more fun. As always, I'm going to leave timestamps down below in the description box if you would like to watch one book review in particular. This is another YA contemporary mashup. I read a lot of contemporary in the summer. There's no surprise there. The books I'll be talking about today are Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia, Lucky in Love by Casey West, Full Repeat by Jen Klein. So like I said, timestamps are down below if you don't watch any one of these in particular. If not, let's just carry on with the mashup review. The first book I'm talking about today is Eliza and Her Monsters. I just recently read this and I fell in love with it. If you're not familiar with this book, it has been recently hyped a ton. This is all about a girl named Eliza, if you haven't guessed it. She is the creator of this famous webcomic called Monstrous Sea. Monstrous Sea is huge. It has millions of followers. She has a blog where she puts all of her work on. She has her own merchandise. Like, it is insanely huge. Eliza keeps her identity secret. Obviously, there's no surprise there. And then one day in school, she meets a new kid that's actually Monstrous Sea's biggest fan fiction writer. So her and him quickly form a relationship, but she does not tell him that she is actually the creator of Monstrous Sea. She just kind of goes along with being a fan also. So basically, this is all about Eliza and her creation of Monstrous Sea, and you know, her dealing with a lot of anxiety from the pressure from it, also with her relationship with her family, with dealing with the Monstrous Sea as well, and a love interest as well. So a whole bunch of things wrapped up in one book. This book also has drawings from the Monstrous Sea, so you get to see a little bit of like comic strips that she writes of the actual comic. So there you are. And it's really cool to see Eliza's story come to life. You really get to see Monstrous Sea. And I believe that Monstrous Sea is actually on Wattpad. I forget that the author actually made. I'm not too sure about that. Either way, I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book a 4.75 out of 5. It wasn't a full 5 out of 5 for me. It's pretty much, if you want to round up, it could be. The reason I held back from giving it a full 5 out of 5 was Eliza herself. Eliza definitely had a lot of character growth in this novel. I really enjoyed watching her transformation between, you know, being kind of a homebody, being, you know, very much in Monstrous Sea, and that's all she really does, and to developing more friends, getting out of the house, and kind of just opening herself up to the world. I like that character arc. But the one thing I wasn't a huge fan of is her relationship with her family. I felt a lot of times like both of them were kind of at fault. She was very much upset that her parents didn't really seem to care about her Monstrous Sea things, and they thought it was kind of, you know, something not that big of a deal. They don't really understand why their daughter is in their room all the time, you know, being on the computer. They don't understand that. And you know, she doesn't understand why they don't take much more interest in it and see how big of a deal it is becoming. Like, it's a huge deal and they don't really know about it. So I had this really conflicting parent-child relationship, and it did definitely flesh out with the book, but I felt like Eliza could have been a little bit more open with her parents. She could have expressed herself a little bit more. Like, there were so many arguments between her and her parents in this book, you know, where they were like, get off your phone, and she's like, my friends are on the phone. And I get that, and I get that her friends are on the phone, but I also feel like you should be with her family at a certain time, and I do feel like her parents should have paid more attention to her and like her passions and her love. But the parent side, they were, you know, some parents aren't really technical savvy as other parents are, so they didn't really understand what's going on. They truly didn't understand the gravity of the situation, and I think they had a hard time expressing their, you know, explaining to Eliza how they were proud of her. So they both could have really worked on their relationship more. Even by the end of it, I feel like it wasn't fully rounded out. I wanted more like resolve with that, but I felt like Eliza was just a little bit harsh on her parents constantly, which I get. She's a teenager, I get, but I feel like she could have grown a little bit more in that aspect. I know, it's sorry rant, but that's the only reason why I didn't give this book a 5 out of 5. Like, I really enjoyed Eliza for the most part. That was one quirk I didn't like about it. I said this book deals with anxiety. Eliza has a lot of anxiety to deliver like this huge epic Monstrous Sea. Her fans really wait on bated breath for it every single week, and if it's late, they freak out. She feels a ton of pressure, a ton of anxiety, you know, with delivering that to them, and also, you know, with her identity and things like that. I really love that they talk about mental illness in this book and dealing with with Eliza's anxiety. I also found the love interest to be super adorable. Either way, if you are like kind of like a geeky person at heart, much like myself, you will enjoy this book. It is a very, very fast-paced book. You will not want to put it down. I read this in like 2 days because I just ate it up. I really enjoyed it. So I would definitely recommend it if you're a contemporary lover, and if you're just like kind of a geeky person, this is definitely a book for you. So definitely one of my favorite contemporaries I read this year, and one of my favorite books I read this year, honestly. Just that one quirk's the only problem I have with it, but I would highly recommend this book. Next up, I want to talk about Lucky in Love by Casey West. This is Casey West's newest release that just came out in July, and I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen, I did a whole author's video on Casey West, breaking down every single one of her books, telling you my favorites to my least favorite, so go check that video out. It'll be right here. I really enjoy this one. This is one of my favorite Casey West books, and she's written quite a few, like either 8 or 9. I found this to be adorable. This is about a girl named Maddie who wins the lottery, quote essentially, and her life changes, obviously, her relationships change, and she has this one coworker named Seth that she has a crush on, and she decides not to tell him that she has won the lottery because her relationships with other people have changed so drastically from it. This is just a lottery winning story. If you've heard of Windfall, right here by Jennifer E. Smith, that is also about winning the lottery, but I'd say that's more of a serious take on it. This is definitely the lighthearted contemporary that is just really adorable and really, really cute. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed Maddie as a character. I thought she was just the sweetest character ever. She was very fleshed out, she was very caring, she was very loving. I found the romance to be adorable. Either way, if you're not familiar with Casey West books, if you're just looking for a cute and fluffy book, Casey West is the perfect author to go to, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, one of my favorite Casey West books, and I would say this is probably like my second favorite of hers. Like, I really enjoyed it. And the last book I want to talk about is Shuffle Repeat by Jen Klein. This is not a new release. Those last two I talked about were new releases. This one's actually released last year. I'm late getting around to it. I really enjoyed it. It's all about Oliver and June. Pretty much Oliver picks up June every day on the way to school because they live kind of far away at school, so their moms are best friends, so they kind of hatched a plan where Oliver will pick up June on the way to school, and they're not really friends. They're very different in high school. Oliver is the very, very jock guy that's very popular and very, very nice, and June's kind of the not understanding of any sort of high school thing. She just wants to leave high school, leave it behind. She thinks it makes no sense at all. There's no point in high school. So this whole this book's all about them forming a friendship. They also have this playlist that they make. Have like a constant debate going on whether or not high school matters, and if you win a point in the debate, you get to add a song to this playlist. That's not what the whole book is about. I'd say it's kind of a minor take on it. It's more about Oliver and June and forming their relationship and their friendship, and learning also about June character growth as well, because she thinks high school is just a waste of time, and throughout this book she sees maybe that it's not a huge waste of time. I found this book to be so adorable. I'm a sucker for contemporaries, but I'm very picky about contemporaries. There are a lot of contemporaries I read that I'm just like, they're okay. I really enjoyed this one. I thought the romance was adorable. I will say it took forever for the romance to happen, but that's kind of how it happens with contemporaries. You have this whole build up to the romance, and then you get the resolve in like 20 pages, and you're like, I need more of a resolve with this relationship. I need more romance. I need more of this couple together, because that's one qualm I have with contemporary. You spend forever, you spend 80% of the build up, and then you get 20% of like the actual happiness, and I want more of the happiness. I want it to be like half and half. I might be the only one. Either way, I'd say if you're a contemporary lover, definitely check out this book. I really enjoyed it, and I want to check out her most recent release, I think called Summer Unscripted. I really found this to be adorable. I read this in like 2 days. I just really enjoyed it. It's a cute and fluffy book, but that's just what I love to read in the summertime. So I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite contemporaries I've ever read, so I would highly recommend it. So there you have it. There are my thoughts on these 3 books. I just wanted to give you my quick thoughts on all of these books, and I have to say I really enjoyed all of them. They're all really awesome contemporary books that I would highly recommend you check out. If you have read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments. Did you like them as much as I did? Maybe not, maybe so. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.